This video is brought to you by the Deck of Many and Humblewood.net. Welcome back to the Gallant Goblin. I'm Theo, and today we're here to look at a preview brick of miniatures from the new Pathfinder Battle set. This is Legendary Adventures. Now, this set is going to release in October 2019, so if you're watching this video sometime after that, you can click the eye in the corner of the screen if you want to skip ahead and watch our full review of this set of miniatures. You'll see a close-up of every miniature in the set and get the lore behind each creature. This set includes 44 miniatures, again, all pre-painted, and this is technically the first Pathfinder Battle set to include huge miniatures, which have the 3x3 bases in the regular booster boxes, so that's exciting too. This set is based on the artwork and concept art for the new Pathfinder 2nd edition. So some of the miniatures are going to have a little different look to them than maybe what you're used to. So we want to thank WizKids for sending this to us, and let's go ahead and open them up and take a look and see what's inside. Okay, first box. I want to preface all this by saying that I am not a Pathfinder expert at this point, but we're working on it. All right, so for our large or huge figure here, we have a Cloud Giant. Now, the giants in Pathfinder seem to be, or at least this one, seems to be on a huge base, although it's not quite as tall as some of the ones you get in Icons of the Realms. But man, the hair is a nice translucent material, and this is quite beautiful. And this is a one that has a variant. This is 32A. So we'll see another variety, probably with a different weapon. Let's see what else we have. Goblin Guard. So I'm one of the ones who likes the new Goblin redesigns that they have for Pathfinder 2nd edition. I've always liked the Goblins in Pathfinder, and I'm always a fan of cute things. So I appreciate that. The next one we have is a Halfling Wizard. Oh, this is a really cool little balding halfling. That is adorable. I think he might be wearing sandals too. It's a little hard to tell. But this is a unique one. You don't see too many quite like this. I love it. And finally in this one, we have a Wraith. Oh, I think I've seen concept art for this one at some point. Some of the Wraiths that you get are a little bit translucent, but this one's a nice kind of red, torn cloth wrapped around like a billowing black cloud. It's really an interesting take on a Wraith. Okay, second box. Oh, these are not bolted in with a little piece of plastic, little plastic seat belt. Here we go. This is our Alghollthu, our aboleth from D&D, called the Alghollthu. Correct me if my pronunciation in the bottom if you like, but this is something that we were talking about recently on the channel and something I've been really looking forward to. It's beautiful. It's got a nice wave effect to kind of make it levitate off the ground, and it's really cool. I love it. All right, next is the Gnome Rogue. Really colorful with a blue and purple cloak and a bunch of little weapons that she's carrying. He or she, I think it's a she, red hair, little ponytails. Super cute. And this is a little Kobold Soldier carrying a little staff. Tiny and cute. Nicely painted. Got a little, you can see it's like little pouches along its belt even. These are really detailed little figures. And finally in this set is a Wight. So quite a bit of undead creatures. And of course this set's going to include a lot of your basic variety monsters and heroes to kind of get you started on 2nd edition. So the dark dead skin on this Wight is kind of really interesting with the big collar on his coat and tattered cape behind him. Yeah, that's a really cool minion. I've never seen anything quite like that. All right. What is this? This looks like the Pteranodon. The basically pterodactyl. scary to get it out of here. There we go. That definitely looks like a pterodactyl. And this is, I believe, a large mini. And I'm so glad that WizKids has gotten away from doing the little poles that you have to attach yourself for these flying creatures. If you are a regular viewer of our channel, you know how much I hate that. And they've really started to go to these pre-built-in little elevating platforms that make these so much nicer. Next, we have a very cool-looking Orc Battler with his... this is a female orc, actually, which is great. And she's actually leaning back in that very arrogant kind of way, carrying a very cool-looking sword. Yeah, this is beautiful, too. Next, we have... oh, this is a Hobgoblin Soldier with really nice-looking shield and staff and sword. All these minis seem to have quite a few different weapons on them. Be interesting to see how much they match what they carry in their stat block. So we'll have to look at that later on. And finally, ooh, that's a really good-looking Dwarf Champion. That just looks like Gimli or something or similar with a golden armor. There's something really interesting about that one in the chainmail. That's a good player character mini. Very classic dwarf fighter. All right. And since this is a brick, we should be getting 3 rares. So before I open the 4th box, I'll just point out that our little Halfling Wizard here was our first rare. Everything else has been commons or uncommons so far. 4th box. All right. This is our Yeti. He's in there really well. That definitely looks like a Yeti. The fur is actually really done really well on this one. It looks much more quote-unquote realistic than the other Yeti minis I have. It's really interesting gray fur. And not a rare. Here we have our Orc Charger. Now, some of these orcs and hobgoblins and goblins were also featured in the preview pack that we reviewed. If you want to click the corner of the screen for some reason to look at those, these are supposed to have a slightly different color scheme on these. So at the end of this video, we'll kind of compare some of those to see how those different color schemes came out. This is our Orc Brawler. Again, with the same kind of lean-backed pose, the belly sticking out. Really, like got the quiver on the back with the arrows and some daggers, and I don't even know what. There's a blade on the elbow, maybe carrying another set of, like 2 daggers. These are really well-armed characters. And one more. Tiny one in this set. Looks like a goblin. Oh yeah, this is a Goblin Horse-Chopper. They creatively named all their goblins in this set and what they are known for. Looks like it might even have an earring on its ear based on the color. It's got a little metallic bit on its ear and carrying a really interesting weapon. It looks almost alien in its design. All right, let's see what's next. Box 5. This one's slightly heavier. It is a lot easier to open these when they're not all tied in. This is a Storm Giant. These are definitely, though, I think, shorter than some of the giant minis that we've gotten through Icons of the Realms. Even though they do have the huge base. It is an interesting character. I'm used to seeing Storm Giants with blue skins. One has purple, some tattoos of lightning bolts across his chest. The nice sandals. Very Greek. Very cool. Nothing has come damaged so far, and barely even bent, to be honest with you. This one is a Hobgoblin Sharpshooter. Yeah. I can't remember if I've seen too many that have archers that have the arrow and the bow as if they're about to fire them. I've seen a lot carrying bows, but I've never seen one actually notched like this. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Some of you, especially from Minnie's gallery, are much more expert at this than I am. But that seems unique to me. Let's see what else we have. Goblin Dog-Slicer. So of course these little goblins are named after their weapons, and that is quite the little ragtag weapon that he's holding there. Almost looks like an improvised sword. And again with the earrings, so I guess that is a thing in the goblin culture that I wasn't aware of yet. We'll be doing a more deep dive into Pathfinder in the coming days, so we'll let you know about that. And finally, we have a Kobold Scout. This is a green kobold with some polka dots on him. A little, I think it's a hand crossbow and a dagger. Really detail painting for such a small figure. All right. Very cool. This one's also heavy. Oof. Oh, this is a Chimera. You can, compared to some of the other Chimera minis I've seen, you can really tell the different heads of the beasts. The dragon head, the goat head, and was it a lion head, I believe? And the different paint schemes. Wow, yeah, that's a really good-looking Chimera. My party encountered these playing Storm King's Thunder a couple months ago. I wish I'd had this when they did. I had to use some other kind of mini for that. And no, still not a rare. Here's a Bugbear Skulker. I really do like the redesigns of the bugbears. It was really hard to tell, especially in, I think, 5th edition D&D, that the bugbears and the goblins are related. And when I try to explain that to my players, it just maybe they don't quite grok it. So I like that they do look similar in this edition. And again, with lots of different weapons. This is a cool looking mini. Oh my god. This is definitely a rare. This is the Orc Warlord. And he really deserves to be a rare, holding his war horn and his spiked club, carrying his banner. That is a super cool figure. I really love this with his spiked armor. Yeah, this is amazing. This is one of my favorite minis I've ever seen, especially, definitely my favorite orc. And I believe there's one more in this one. We have the Kobold Scalecaster. Forgive me if I mispronounce any of these. You can see the names written on the screen as well. A blue kobold with a very small translucent spell effect and an improvised staff that looks like he's pulled out of a bush. That's very cool too. A unique figure. Okay, we got two more. Still looking for our last rare, I think. Unless I missed it in here somewhere. All right, this looks like a fire giant to me. Indeed, not a rare. Fire giant, really with the flaming translucent hair, the skin that looks like molten rock with veins of lava flowing through it. I've never seen one quite like this before. I'm not sure what the lore is behind giants in Pathfinder, but we will learn about it as we develop our script for our full review. So I'm looking forward to reading about that. A really cool looking sword as well. That's a very cool looking figure. And again, these are still much shorter than the Icons of the Realms ones. We'll show you some comparisons at the end of this. But that's still a very cool looking mini. These are all beautifully sculpted. Nothing's coming broken at all. This is a repeat. This is the Orc Brawler with the double daggers and the elbow blades that we saw earlier. And Orc Charger. I don't think we had this, but I think this might have been in... Or did we have one of these already? Or if this was included in the preview pack. No, we had another one already, so this is also a repeat. So that's what you get when you have bricks and you have commons. So that's another common. And finally, we have a Dwarf Rogue. Dark skin, blonde hair, little dagger, a nice belt with a bunch of other weapons on it. Yeah, this is a very unique mini. I don't recall ever seeing anything quite like this. I don't remember seeing too many Dwarf Rogue minis in anything that I've opened before, so that's really interesting. It's like she's dressed for the summer, possibly. Yeah, that's a very unique. I love this mini. I hope somebody makes a player character out of it. This is definitely going on my table when I have my new players create characters. I just put all the minis on the table that they might be able to choose from and see what they're drawn to. It's really helpful for new players when they're just getting into the game. We've got one more box and we just have one more rare to find. Let's see what it is. And this one's heavy. I'm kind of excited. Let's see what we have. This is a Boar Demon. Oh my god. Yeah. This is definitely a rare. In this set, you can, by looking at it, you can definitely tell what's going to be a rare by how detailed and crazy it is. This looks like something that we might have to find a way to incorporate into Descent into Avernus as well if we play that. Oh, he's got stab wounds on him. The nice bone necklace. Little wings, little bone shards coming out of his forehead and into his fur on the top of his head, several earrings. These are really detailed and nice. They're gorgeous. This was a heavy one, too. I have to see where this appears. We're going to be getting into Pathfinder here in our household soon, so I need to see where this fella shows up so we can make sure that he gets to hit the table. Next, we have a Halfling Slinger, which is another really cool player character mini. This could also double as a child, but you could use this as a male or female, I think. Little player character. And yeah, that's a really nice little one. Over here, we have another new one for me. This is Elf Ranger with two short swords and a bow and arrow and a quiver around his waist or her waist. And pretty good face with darker eyes, shading, kind of natural leather materials. Very cool. And one more in a little bag. Another goblin. This is the another Goblin Dog-Slicer who's looking at us with hatred in his red little beady eyes. Okay, well, let's take a look at some of these in comparison. Let's show you how these look compared to some of the preview minis and compare sizes on these giants and see what else we want to show you before we wrap things up. Let's compare a few of these minis to ones from other sets. On these next few pairs, the mini on the left is always from the new set, Legendary Adventures. Let's start with comparing giants. Here are the Cloud Giants. On the right, we have the Cloud Giant from the Icons of the Realm set, Storm King's Thunder. They have the same base, Huge, which is 3x3, but the D&D Cloud Giant is obviously much taller. Here are the Fire Giants, with the one on the right also from Storm King's Thunder. Again, it's much taller, though note that the Fire Giant from Pathfinder is actually on a large base instead of a huge one. And here are the Storm Giants. The one on the right is from Monster Menagerie 3. According to the lore, D&D giants are just a good bit taller than their Pathfinder counterparts, though some folks have complained that the Icons of the Realms giants are actually taller than they should be, according to the lore. Next, we'll compare the Fire Giant in this set to the one from a previous Pathfinder Battles line, Shattered Star. The new one is a bit taller, though both are on large bases. They would certainly go pretty well together on the table if your party was attacked by a band of roving fire giants. Next, we have the Boar Demon compared to the Nefeshni Demon from the D&D Icons of the Realms line, Rage of Demons. Looks like the Boar Demon could eat the Nefeshni for breakfast. Note that the Pathfinder mini is on a huge base compared to the Icons one on the large base. Finally, let's compare the minis in the Legendary Adventures booster boxes to the ones in the preview box that WizKids released several weeks earlier. The Legendary Adventures minis are still on the left, and now the preview minis are on the right. WizKids promised that while the preview minis would be the same sculpts, they would have alternative paint schemes, and they really delivered. Sometimes paint variants just have a slightly different shade of blue on their cloaks, but these minis have pretty distinctly different paint schemes from their skin color through their hair, armor, and weapons color. So if you do like some variety in your common monsters, getting your hands on the preview set could help you meet that goal. All the minis included in the preview pack are commons, numbers 1 through 8 to be precise. Again, you can see our review of the preview set by clicking the eye in the corner of the screen. One thing I noticed about this set is that previous Pathfinder battle sets had included set dressing pieces. So in a brick, you would usually get 2, and they would replace one of your minis. So you might get a little sculpture of a bush, or a scarecrow, or a gargoyle. And this set doesn't seem to have those anymore. So that's something a little different. But if you want to see a full review of these videos, if you're watching this right when we put it up, you have to wait just a little while. But they're coming out in October. You can click the eye in the corner of the screen, and if we release that video, it'll be up there. And also, that comes with this set, since each Pathfinder battle set comes with a premium figure. We have the Goblin Village over here that we will be reviewing shortly. So you can also see that in the corner of the screen if we've released that. And that'll be coming in the next couple of days here. So yeah, we want to thank WizKids for sending this preview brick along to us. If you have any questions about it, I know this might be the first time you're seeing some of these minis, so if you do have questions, go ahead and post them in the comment section below and we'll try to answer them for you. If there's anything we can answer with pictures or comparisons, we can post those to our Instagram, so go ahead and ask those below and you can find the answers on Instagram. You can find the link to all of our social media down below, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'd also like to thank our sponsor for this video, the Deck of Mini. They've just released their animated spell cards for D&D 5th edition. If you look at the description below, you can see our review of that, and it'll also be in the eye in the corner of the screen. Also, the Deck of Mini has a new campaign setting book coming out this fall. It is called Humblewood, and we wanted to preview for you another one of the sets of miniatures that come with this set that you can purchase at humblewood.net. This is the Citizens of Alderheart. This set includes miniatures that you can use for player characters or NPCs. In this set, you have the Sarah Luma Cleric, the Raptor Explorer, the Strig Ranger, the Gallus Monk, and the Hedge Bard. You can pre-order this over at humblewood.net. Thank you for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like down below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to see the full review of this set when it comes out. You can ring the bell down below too if you want to be notified when we release a video. Otherwise, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.